Friends, just welcome back. In the previous topic, we have completed the oogenesis, spermatogenesis, menstrual cycle, everything we have completed. Now we are all set for the purpose of embryonic development to begin the embryonic development. And if you have remember, we have started the first chapter where we have discussed the events of the sexual reproduction, and the events of sexual reproductions are divided into three steps or three basic type of event: pre-fertilization events, post-fertilization event, and the fertilization. Means what? The key role in the process of sexual reproduction is of the fertilization. And here, if you have remember, the pre-fertilization events are the transfer of gamete and the gametogenesis. So here we have completed the gametogenesis, where we have completed the process of gamete formation, spermatogenesis, oogenesis. Then we knows very well the process of insemination is going to discharge the male gamete into the female gamete, that is the gamete transfer in case of human being. And finally the gametes are reaching toward the site of fertilization to perform the process of fertilization, the key event of the sexual reproduction, that is what? The fertilization. So now we are just going to start with the fertilization. Fertilization is the key event, that is what? Very simple concept. Because introduction, I don't wish to make more focus on the introduction. We knows very well the fertilization means it is the process where male and female gametes are fused together to produce a diploid structure. That diploid structure is called as zygote. So is it clear? Earlier also we have put more focus on that topic. We have just discussed how this zygote is being formed. And remember always, the sexual reproduction is having an objective to restore the diploidic situation, because that has been lost during the gametogenesis. So here what happened? The fusion of male and female gamete. Male gamete means what? The sperm, and the female gamete is egg or ovum, is going to fuse together to produce the diploid structure, that is called as the zygote. So is it clear? The fusion of male and female gamete. Now these male and female gametes for the haploid structure you knows very well, and these haploid gametes are going to produce a diploid cell, that is called as the zygote. So now what is the objective of fertilization? That I am just repeating from the first chapter only. The objective of fertilization is always to restore the diploidic situation. Why the restoring diploidic situation? This is required because the diploid cells are having only conditions to undergoing the process of proliferation, so that it could form the diploid organism. Otherwise, if the haploid cells are there, they undergoing the process of meiosis, so they will produce only the haploid cell. But the human cells and the animal cells, those who are having the somatic cells, all the somatic cells are the diploid in nature. So here whatever the diploidy is being restored, whatever the diploidy is being destroyed during the process of gametogenesis, is required to restored once again before entering in the process of embryonic development. So this is the purpose why the fertilization is required. Fertilization's objective is to restore the diploidic situation, and due to the restoring of diploidic situation, the two cells from two different parents are being received, and that is why this is going to contribute in the process of variation and evolution also. In human, if you are moving on next, in human where the fertilization is occurs, so fertilization occurs in ampullary isthmus junction of the oviduct, that we have already understood at the time of female reproductive system. In female reproductive system, we have understood the structure of oviduct. The first part is fimbriated funnel or infundibulum, then second part is ampulla, and third part is isthmus. So the secondary oocyte, whichever is released from the ovary, is being moved on to the ampulla, then moving downward onto the isthmus. So at the junction of ampulla and isthmus reaches to the site and fertilize the egg there only. So the site of fertilization is what? Ampullary isthmus junction of the oviduct. Now how the sperm reaches to the site of fertilization? This is very important process, or we can say the process of gamete transfer. We are just discussing here how the process, how the sperm is reaching to the site of fertilization, that means to the ampullary isthmus junction. We knows very well the secondary oocyte released from the ovary is directly handed over to the infundibulum. The fimbriated funnels were there through the ostium, that is being taken inside to the ciliated epithelium of the fallopian tube or oviduct. Here how the sperm reaches to the site, because sperm has to cover the long journey in comparison to the ovum, and sperm is only the motile structure. So let us see how the sperms are being discharged or how the sperms are being received to the site of fertilization. The process of discharging the semen into the female reproductive tract is called as insemination. So the discharging of sperm into the female reproductive tract is called as insemination. In means inside, semination means semen. So when the semen is being introduced inside the female reproductive tract by the male copulatory structure, that is penis, and the sperm is discharged along with the semen, not only the sperm. Are you getting my point? The sperm is being discharged with the help of semen only. Sperm is not alone is being discharged. Whenever the mating process is there, whenever the copulation is going on, that time the semen is discharged into the reproductive tract of the female. Now sperm reach to the, due to the process of insemination, the sperm reach into the female tract, and semen helps in the movement of sperm. Sperm itself is not moving here. Along with the semen, it is going to move here in the female reproductive tract. Somewhere what happens, the males are not able to perform the process of insemination naturally due to some of the reproductive errors, due to the some of the disorder that we have discussed earlier into the male reproductive system. Like that, important is the situation when male is not able to discharge the semen naturally into the female reproductive tract. On such situation, the artificially to ensure the fertilization in such situation, if male is not able to discharge its own semen naturally to the female reproductive tract, so that time it is required to discharge the semen of the male artificially into the female reproductive tract. For the purpose of what? The semen is being collected outside of the male's body and being discharged through the artificial mean into the female reproductive tract. So here, because we are involving the human intelligence and artificially we are just discharging the semen into the female reproductive tract, the process is called as artificial insemination. Are you getting my point? Artificial insemination, when the male is not able to discharge the semen naturally, then the semen is introduced inside the female's body artificially. That is called as the artificial insemination. Artificial insemination is of two types. One is called as AIH. Remember, artificial insemination husband. If the reason of infertility in the male is only that the male is not able to discharge the semen, so on that situation, semen is being collected outside from the male's body and being discharged into the respective female. That is called as artificial insemination husband, when the husband itself providing the semen. But if sometime what happened, the semen is able to be discharged thereon, but the male is not having the adequate amount of the sperm, like the azoospermia, oligospermia, or aspermia cases are there, then the male cannot fertilize, or male cannot produce the enough amount of the sperm so that it could begin the process of fertilization, or it could perform the process of reproduction. So on such situation, some donors are being arranged for the purpose of reproduction. So that is called as AID, artificial insemination donor. So when artificial insemination husband means what? The semen of the same couple is being donated there, semen of the same couple is being inseminated there, and whenever the donor is required, so that time another couple or another male semen is collected and being discharged into the female reproductive tract. So here, and this is what the artificial process, and that process may be used there in the IVF technology, in vitro fertilization. The test tube babies, you know, is very commonly that, and whatever the babies are being produced to that artificial process, they all are called as tube babies. Okay, moving on to the next. During each insemination, we know very well, around 3 to 5 ml semen is being discharged into the female reproductive tract, and that 3 to 5 ml of the semen is having around 200 to 400 million of the sperm. During each semination, each episode of semination release around 200 to 400 million of sperm. A great number of sperm is being discharged into the female reproductive tract, but only 100 sperms can reach to the site of fertilization, means to the egg. Only 100 sperms can reach to the site of fertilization, or to the site of to the egg only, and you will be shocked, and you know very well, Out of these 100, only one sperm can fertilize the egg. Are you getting my point? Out of 200 to 400 million sperm, 100 can reach to the site of fertilization, or means we can say to the egg surface. They are touching the egg surface, they all are trying to enter inside the egg surface, but only one out of those 100 is going to enter inside the egg and perform the process of fertilization. So can you think on that? This is a kind of clear-cut case of competition. Competition means we can say this is an example of natural selection. Out of 200 million sperm, only one is able to fertilize, and naturally the sperm which is going to fertilize the egg, that is most powerful, the best sperm out of those 400 million sperm. So is it clear to you all? And we have discussed all the facts already there. The speed of sperm in the female reproductive tract is 1.5 to 3.5 mm per minute. The sperm travels the distance with the help of an speed that is 1.5 to 3.0 mm per minute. The lifespan of an oocyte, this is important concept because this is required for the understanding, the fertilization. An oocyte can survive up to 12 to 24 hours. Great disputes are there in the term of the lifespan. Different references are there, those who are writing the different concept, different lifespan, but we are just taking on an average whatever is present there in many of the references. So the lifespan of an oocyte is around 12 to 24 hours, and sperm's lifespan is around 24 to 48 hours. Many of the references are writing it as the 72 hours also, but on an average we are just taking an oocyte can survive up to 12 to 24 hours and sperm can survive 24 to 48 hours. But remember, the fertilization can complete during the first 24 hour of the insemination, because my dear child, you must remember the oocyte can survive till 24 hour only. So sperm whatever is released, if it is persisting there, so in first 24 hour of the sperm discharge into the female reproductive tract, it has to fertilize, otherwise it will not be able to perform the fertilization. Remember, okay, so first 24 hour is crucial for the purpose of fertilization. Means what? If on 14th day the egg is released, if on 14th day the oocyte is released, so fertilization will get completed within 14th and 15 days. If egg is released on 13th day, so fertilization will get complete within 14 days. If it is on 15 to 16 days, so only 24-hour time period is being allotted for the purpose of successful completion of the fertilization. And now the recent studies and researches are explaining that the sperm can fertilize best during the first 6 hours of discharging it. Sperm can fertilize within 24 hours, but it can fertilize best within first 6 hours or first 6 to 8 hours whenever it is being discharged. So just take care of that. The lifespan of the oocyte is around 24 hours. Sperm can survive till 48 hours, but can fertilize only on the first 24 hours of its discharging. And the best thing is that only first 6 to 8 hours are considered as the better time period for the fertilization of egg. Okay, moving on to the next concept of the fertilization. When we discuss the process of fertilization, so fertilization is basically the fusion of male and female gamete, fusion of male and female sex cell. But the fusion involves 4 different type of the processes here. What are these processes? Just try to understand. First process during the fertilization is called as syngamy. Syn means together, gamus matlab marriage, you know very well. In the during the pollination only we have just understood that gamus word. The syn together, gamus fusion. So syngamy means what? When fusion of gamete occurs, means fusion of sperm and oocyte occur, sperm and ovum occur, that is called as syngamy. Plasmogamy. Plasmo means gamose fusion. Plasma means protoplasm or cytoplasm. So as soon as the male gamete enters inside the female sex cell, that means inside the oocyte, so first of all their cytoplasm are going to fuse together. So the fusion or mixing of the cytoplasm or protoplasm is called as plasmogamy. After the fusion of protoplasm or cytoplasm, what will happen? Their nucleus will get fused together. The fusion of male and female pronuclei. What is the meaning of male and female pronuclei? Remember, The male and female pronuclei means what? The nucleus without boundary, or the primitive nucleus. Primitive nucleus means what? When the nuclear material is not covered externally with the nuclear membrane. So here male and female pronuclei means the situation where the genetic material, means the chromosome of the nucleus, is not covered by the nuclear membrane. And amphimixis is the next one of that. If the nucleus is not covered with the nuclear membrane, so both the chromosomal content will release there in the cytoplasm and they will fuse together. This is very easy process. Fusion of gamete is there, and at the time of fusion of gamete, first of all what happen? The plasmogamy, protoplasm will fuse together. Karyogamy, the fusion of the fusion of the male and female pronuclei. What is female and male and female pronuclei? You knows very well. Amphimixis, fusion of the chromosomal content of the male and female gamete. How the fertilization took place, that we are just going to understand. That is mechanism of fertilization. Now, the first of all, whenever the sperm enters into the female reproductive tract, it has to undergo in the process of capacitation. Capacitation, very smart word. Capacitation, capacity. Capacity means what? Capacity of fertilizing the egg. So here, as soon as the sperm is discharged into the female reproductive tract, that means into the vagina, the sperm is getting its capability back to fertilize itself, or we can say the reactivation of the sperm. So development of capacity of fertilization in sperm is called as capacitation. Development of capacity of fertilization in sperm is called as capacitation, and this is called as what? Reactivation of sperm. Here the fertilization capacity is going to develop there in the sperm, or we can say the reactivation of the sperm is called as capacitation. Where it is being completed, just now I just discussed here. The site of capacitation is the vagina only. What is the meaning of capacitation, or why the capacitation is required? And even though we have understood earlier only during the transfer of the male gamete, the sperm, during the passage of sperm from vasa efferentia to the epididymis, the sperm is getting functionally matured. Then why it is required to get it capacitized here? Remember, the sperm is loaded with many of the nutritive fluid, many of the fluid over it, that is called as semen, secretion of the seminal vesicle, prostate gland, bulbourethral gland. All these glands are going to release some of the materials over the surface of sperm. So sperm is loaded with the semen. And this is very important because at the time of discharging the sperm into the female reproductive tract, the atmosphere of the female reproductive tract is highly acidic. We have just discussed the 3.5 to 4.9, the pH of the female reproductive tract is there, and on this acidic pH the sperm could not maintain its life. So this is required to neutralize the acidity of the female reproductive tract. So this is what the semen is discharged. Not only the sperm is discharged, the semen is going to discharge here, and it will neutralize first the acidity atmosphere of the female reproductive tract by releasing the semen. And as soon as it is being released here, neutralize the atmosphere, neutralize the acidic atmosphere, the sperm should have to be released from that semen material, because two major reasons behind that. The sperm is being loaded with that, so that is going to increase the weight of sperm, that will not help out the sperm in the movement. And second thing, many of the metabolic processes cannot be completed here. So this is what all these processes, all these materials are now being considered as the unuseful material, or the unwanted material. So during capacitation, what happened? Removal of unwanted material from the surface of sperm. During capacitation, what is happening? The capacitation is the removal of unwanted material from the surface of sperm. What is the unwanted material? The removal of cholesterol, removal of the glycoprotein coat, whatever is present here, that all are removed from here. And one more important factor, one important thing is done during the capacitation. The calcium ion enters into the sperm cytoplasm, and due to that calcium ion, the sperms can perform its rapid movement. The rapid movement of tail is there, and due to the rapid movement of tail, the sperm can easily move or fastly move into the female reproductive tract. So this is what the capacitation. So in very short step, the capacitation means what? The process where sperms can develop its fertilization capacity by removing of the unwanted material loaded over the sperm. From where the unwanted material came? They came from the semen only. And if it is being asked why these materials are being loaded, if it has to be removed out, so to neutralize the acidic environment of the female vaginal tract. So this is what. Now moving on to the next mechanism or next process of the fertilization in the human females. Okay, so moving on to the mechanism, after the receiving or after developing the capacity of fertilization, a series of physical and chemical event for fertilization process begins. A series of physical and chemical event for the fertilization began. Remember, my dear child, the fertilization is a perfect combination of physical and chemical processes. The fertilization cannot be completed without the physical movement, or it cannot be completed without the chemical reaction. So here, what are the chemical reaction, what are the physical reaction, we'll see that, but you must take care, you must remember, in the physical processes, physical event, the journey of sperm means what? Movement of the sperm, reaching to the surface of the sperm, attachment to the surface of egg, and moving into or penetrating into the surface, penetrating into the oocyte or egg. So that all are the physical movement. Physical movement means what? Physical event means what? The movement or transport of the sperm, movement of sperm, that wriggling movement. Second one, attachment to the egg surface, and third one, penetration of the egg membrane. All these movements are considered as the physical movement, and they all are that much planned ki one after another is going to complete, and fertilization process is being completed thereon. So one by one we are just going to see all these changes, all these processes, and you will find the fertilization is a very easy process thereon. So first of all, the acrosome reaction. Acrosomal reaction means what? The reaction performed by the acrosome. Here, if you have remember, my dear child, the acrosome is a granular structure present on the surface or sperm head formed by the Golgi body, and acrosome is loaded with the hydrolytic enzyme. If you have remember that we have discussed during the gametogenesis and the structure of the sperm thereon. So acrosomal reaction means the reaction is performed by the acrosome only. So what happens during the acrosomal reaction? Physical event is what? After discharging and capacitation, the sperm will start their journey toward the site of fertilization, toward or in search of the secondary oocyte or egg. As their journey begins, many of the phagocytosis, many of the sperms are getting digested, many of the sperms are getting died thereon, they lose their journey. Only 100 out of these 400 sperms are going to only 100 out of those 400 million sperms are reaching to the secondary oocyte. As they are just reaching to the secondary oocyte, all these 100 sperms are going to attack on the surface of secondary oocyte, and they are trying to penetrate the secondary oocyte membrane. Secondary oocyte membrane, remember, first of all, corona radiata, inside that zona pellucida. So many of the membranes are there. If you have remembered the structure, granulosa layer, then corona radiata layer, then the zona pellucida layer, then they will find what? The egg cytoplasm and that. So this is a tough process to penetrate all these membrane, and this is what the challenge is that. So all the sperms which are raised to the site of fertilization, they are successful in searching of the female gamete. So now they are attacking on the female gamete. So whenever they are attacking on the female gamete, they are trying to penetrate it so that they could reach inside the female gamete and perform the process of fusion. So in that process, which structure is very important, the first structure, they are just trying to penetrate inside the female gamete with the help of the top structure present on the sperm head, that is acrosome. So that is what the first reaction of the fertilization is, the acrosomal reaction. What happened when they are just when the sperm is trying to penetrate inside the oocyte, that time they are creating the extra force, they are exerting the extra force on the surface of oocyte. Due to that extra force or exerted force, the acrosomal membrane get dissolved, and due to the dissolving of the acrosomal membrane, what will happen? The acrosome will release out all the hydrolytic enzymes there on the surface of secondary oocyte or the female gamete. Are you getting my point? So that penetration will dissolve the acrosomal membrane and will lead to release of the acrosomal content, that are the hydrolytic enzymes is considered as the acrosomal reaction. So penetration reaction starts with the acrosomal, that is called as the acrosomal reaction. It is going to complete in following step. First step is that when the oocyte, when the sperm reaches to the surface of oocyte, so first of all the compatibility checking is done with the help of some chemical mechanism. That compatibility checking is done with the help of a glycoprotein released from the zona pellucida. When sperm reaches to the site of oocyte, they are being checked whether they are from the proper species or not with the help of a particular glycoprotein. That glycoprotein is released from the layer that is called as zona pellucida, and whenever they are just being checked whether they are of the same species, so if they are of the same species, they are being allowed to stick to the surface of oocyte, and the protein which is going to perform that identification and promote the adherence of the sperm to the site of oocyte, to the surface of oocyte, is called as ZP3. The sperm attaches to the oocyte surface. Here a glycoprotein from the zona pellucida. Zona pellucida is releasing a glycoprotein. Very important point. Zona pellucida is responsible for releasing of a protein that is called as ZP3. It acts as the sperm receptor. ZP3 is going to perform a kind of identification and working to receive the sperm thereon. So is it clear? After attaching to the egg surface, the acrosome, after attaching to the egg surface, that ZP3 is itself stimulating the acrosomal reaction. It informs acrosome that it is the time to release out your enzymes here on. So the acrosome will start releasing its enzyme. The group of enzyme present in the acrosome is called as sperm lysine. Very important point. ZP3 stimulates the release of acrosomal enzymes thereon. So the group of acrosomal enzyme is combinedly called as, the acrosomal enzymes are combinedly called as sperm lysine. What is sperm lysine? Just see. The sperm lysine is not a single enzyme. Till now we are just discussing कि केवल एक एंजाइम है, हाइड्रोलिटिक नेचर का होता है, हाइड्रोलिटिक नेचर का होता है, बट स्पर्म लाइसिन इज द कॉम्बिनेशन ऑफ थ्री एंजाइम. तीन तरीके के एंजाइम का कॉम्बिनेशन है. द फर्स्ट एंजाइम इज कॉल्ड एज हाइल्यूरोडिनेज, सेकेंड इज कॉल्ड एज सीपी, थर्ड वन इज कॉल्ड एज एक्रोसिन और जोनालाइसिन. हाइल्यूरोडिनेज, पहला काम हाइल्यूरोडिनेज का होता है. यहाँ पे ध्यान रखने की बात यह है कि मैं हिंदी में बोल रहा हूँ जिससे आपको ये समझ में आए. The membrana granulosa cell around the secondary oocyte are fused together with the tough content of the hyaluronic acid. ये hyaluronic acid एक सीमेंट के जैसा काम करता है to associate or to stick the granulosa cells on the surface of the secondary oocyte. समझ में आ रहा है? The hyaluronic acid is present as the cement in between the granulosa cell. और जब स्पर्म को oocyte के अंदर जाना है तो सबसे पहले किसको तोड़ना होगा? इस सीमेंट को तोड़ना होगा. तो फर्स्ट ऑफ ऑल व्हाट कंटेंट और व्हाट एंजाइम इज रिलीज? हाइल्यूरोडिनेज. हाइल्यूरोडिनेज इज डिसॉल्विंग द हाइल्यूरोनिक एसिड प्रेजेंट ऑन द सरफेस ऑफ ग्रैन्युलोसा सेल. जैसे ही वो डिसॉल्व होगा, ग्रैन्युलोसा सेल डैमेज हो गई. नाउ द स्पर्म इज एबल टू मूव इनसाइड. अब वो जैसे ही अंदर आता है तो नेक्स्ट लेयर उसको क्या मिलती है ग्रैन्युलोसा के बाद में? कोरोना रेडिएटा. सो टू पेनिट्रेट, टू डिसॉल्व द कोरोना रेडिएटा, इट इज हैविंग सेकंड ग्रुप ऑफ एंजाइम दैट इज कॉल्ड एज कोरोना पेनिट्रेटिंग एंजाइम. व्हाट हैपेंस? After dissolving the hyaluronic acid of the granulosa cell, sperm is reached into the middle layer that is corona radiata. अब इससे आगे नहीं जा पा रहा है तो इसके लिए क्या करना होगा? It has to penetrate the corona radiata. For penetrating or digesting the corona radiata, the enzyme is there that is called as corona penetrating enzyme, that is called as corona dissolving enzyme. थर्ड वन, अब जैसे ही ये कोरोना रेडिएटा को डिसॉल्व कर लेता है, अंदर पहुंच जाता है, और अंदर पहुंचने के साथ ही अब मिलता है उसका सामना किससे होता है? जोना पेलिसुडा से. तो जोना पेलिसुडा को डिसॉल्व करने के लिए तीसरा एंजाइम काम करता है, दैट इज कॉल्ड एज एक्रोसिन और जोनालाइसिन. जोनालाइसिन जोना पेलिसुडा को डाइजेस्ट करने वाला. जोनालाइसिन इज एन एंजाइम विच डाइजेस्ट द जोना पेलिसुडा देयरऑन. इज इट क्लियर? तो तीन एंजाइम, तीन अलग अलग काम. हाइल्यूरोडिनेज हाइल्यूरोनिक एसिड को डाइजेस्ट करेगा, मींस द स्पर्म कैन पेनिट्रेट द ग्रेन्युलोसा लेयर. देन सीपी, ड्यू टू द सीपी कोरोना रेडिएटा कैन बी डाइजेस्टेड, स्पर्म रीच टू द zona pellucida surface, and as it is going to digest the zona pellucida with the help of zonalysin, it move on to the vitelline membrane or pre-vitelline space. Pre-vitelline space is a space between the zona pellucida and the vitelline membrane of the egg. तो वहां तक वो पहुंच जाएगा. रिमेंबर, जैसे ही स्पर्म, एक और इंपॉर्टेंट चीज है, जैसे स्पर्म कांटेक्ट करता है टू द सरफेस ऑफ oocyte, the surface of oocyte is ready to receive the sperm that time, because that is a kind of mutual process. The sperm is also going to attach onto the surface of egg, and egg is also ready to receive the sperm thereon. So due to that mutual relationship, जैसे ये प्रोसेस शुरू होती है तो acrosomal reaction also stimulates the bulging out of the surface of secondary oocyte in the direction of receiving the egg, and that bulging out of the secondary oocyte or the prolonged surface or projected surface of the secondary oocyte is called as the fertilization cone, and this cone is working to receive the sperm. That is why this is called as cone of reception. So the contact of acrosome also stimulate the development of fertilization cone. What is fertilization cone? A projection or bulging out of the egg surface, so that it could receive the reaching sperm there. So that is called as cone of reception or fertilization cone. Remember, this is two important question. The calcium and magnesium ion are also helpful in the acrosomal reaction. They are playing the key role there in the acrosomal reaction. Very important point. अभी क्या हुआ? Sperm enters inside the fertilization cone, penetrated the membrana granulosa, penetrated the corona radiata, moved on to the zona pellucida, और zona pellucida को भी डिसॉल्व करता है. इसी टाइम पे जैसे ये प्रोसेस शुरू होती है, at that time the sodium ion channels present in the egg membrane are being open, and they start releasing out the sodium ion into the pre-vitelline space, and due to that the depolarization of egg membrane will begin. What happens? As the sperm head comes in the contact with the fertilization cone, it opens the sodium ion channels to cause the depolarization of the egg membrane. As the sperm head comes in the contact with the fertilization cone, it opens the sodium ion channel to cause the depolarization of egg membrane. अब इस डिपोलराइजेशन के कारण क्या करती है जोना पेलिसिडा, जैसे ही स्पर्म अंदर आता है, सो इट spread over that sperm and blocks the entry of another sperm inside. Are you getting my point? As soon as the sperm enters in between the pre-vitelline space, in the pre-vitelline space, zona pellucida फिर से reform होती है, restructure हो जाती है, and it stops the entry of another sperm inside the egg membrane. Means what? The concept began. 100 sperm, one is entered inside the zona pellucida. Now that is being allowed only to perform the fertilization. Rest of the sperm will not be allowed there. They will be digested, or they will be damaged, or they will be died here only. That is what called as fast block of polyspermy. What? Fast block of polyspermy. Fast block of polyspermy. Polyspermy means what? Entry of more than one sperm into the egg is called as polyspermy. And fast block means as soon as the first sperm is entering inside, zona pellucida depolarize to cover that structure and stop the entry of the another sperm thereon. So that is called as fast block. My dear child, NEET examination ध्यान रखना, zona pellucida is the fast block of polyspermy. ये direct question आता है कि which structure is responsible for the fast block of polyspermy? So zona pellucida is the structure which is responsible for the fast block of polyspermy. Now moving on to that, अब जैसे ही sperm enter हो जाता है, as the sperm enters in the pre-vitelline space, other sperms remain outside only. Only the sperm which received inside will start another reaction that is called as cortical reaction. So we are just understanding third process. First one was capacitation, second one acrosomal reaction, third one is the cortical reaction. Okay, so what is cortical reaction? So what is cortical reaction? Just try to understand. अभी क्या हुआ? The sperm moved inside, zona pellucida covers it. Now no more sperm can be there, but that is a kind of fast block. We cannot say that is a kind of permanent block. Many of the sperms, they are having the hard enzymes, that is zona lysine. They can digest the zona pellucida also. So the sperm and egg tries to stop that the egg is trying to stop that polyspermy permanently. For that, what happens? First of all, the fusion of egg and sperm plasma membrane occur. As soon as they enters inside, the fusion of egg and sperm plasma membrane occurs. Means what? Now the sperm is taken inside the oocyte inside the egg surface, and as soon as it is going to move inside the egg surface, the calcium ion is being started releasing the calcium ion will start moving into the egg or oocyte. Are you getting my point? As the fusion of plasma membrane of egg and sperm is there, so what will happen, the calcium ion whatever is loaded there inside the sperm, that is being also deposited inside the egg, and more of the calcium ion is started moving inside the oocyte cytoplasm. And as the calcium ion moved inside the oocyte cytoplasm, it will start releasing out of the cortical granules. Are you getting my point? The calcium ion will cause the efflux of the cortical granules. Cortical granules will deposited in between the space of vitelline membrane and the zona pellucida. Are you getting my point? Calcium ion causes the efflux of the cortical granule, which is going to deposit in between the space of egg membrane, that is vitelline membrane, and the zona pellucida, and that is what called as the cortical reaction. What is cortical reaction? Cortical reaction means what? Deposition of the cortical granule in between the space of vitelline membrane. मैंने कई बार उसको बोला, that is pre-vitelline space, in between the space of zona pellucida and the vitelline membrane, that is called as cortical reaction. Remember my dear child, now cortical reaction means what? The cortical granules are being filled in between the vitelline space. ये सीमेंट का काम करते हैं, सीमेंटाइजेशन हो जाता है, और बाहर से जोना पेलिसिडा वैसे ही हार्ड लेयर के फॉर्म में काम कर रही है. So the cortical reaction and the zona pellucida together forms the slow block of the polyspermy. Very important. First time, the first block of polyspermy means what? Zona pellucida itself performing the fastest reaction so that no more sperm could enter inside. But this is not a permanent method, that is not a permanent cure. To provide a permanent cure from the polyspermy, the cortical reaction and zona pellucida combinedly constitute the slow block. Slow block, why? Because that is a slow process, but this can be considered as sure block also. Sure block, not slow block, sure block. So this is slow block, cortical reaction and zona pellucida together participating slow block, or we can say sure block, cortical reaction and zona pellucida together participating in the sure block. Now what happens? The sperm and egg membrane both are dissolved. Means what? Both are dissolved means now the egg membrane dissolved, sperm membrane dissolved, so both the structures are similar. And just take care one point, at the time of entry of the sperm, only two part of the sperm enters inside the egg, that is what? The head, and second one is the proximal centriole. None other part of the sperm is entering inside. Only two parts are entering inside. One is called as the head of sperm and second one is called as the proximal centriole. बाकी सारे के सारे पार्ट पीछे रह जाते हैं. मिडिल पीस, टेल, इन सब का काम खत्म हो चुका होता है. Only two parts are entering inside. That is called as sperm, and second one is that is called as sperm head, and second one is called as the proximal centriole. फर्टिलाइजेशन मेम्ब्रेन बन चुकी है, आप जानते हैं. दिस इज द मॉडिफाइड वाइटेलिन मेम्ब्रेन ड्यू टू द डिपोजिशन ऑफ cortical granule that now we have discussed just now, and it checks the polyspermy. Now what happens? Listen my points clearly, listen my point very sincerely, very carefully. My dear child, till now the secondary oocyte was released. Till now whatever the process of fertilization we have observed, the process was in the secondary oocyte only, not in the egg, since the egg is not being produced. Why it is not an egg? Because the division, the meiotic division second, is suspended in the secondary oocyte at the metaphase state. Are you getting my point? At that time only we have discussed the secondary oocyte, the structure where the metaphase stage is the division till metaphase second is completed, but it is not introduced or it is not moved into the anaphase second. So what happens now? What is the reason behind that? We must understand. My dear child, the female gamete or the primary oocyte is having only one centriole. That centriole is being consumed for the first meiotic division, and that is why it is able to convert in form of the secondary oocyte. But secondary oocyte enters in the meiosis second. It completes the prophase second, it completes the metaphase second, but for the movement of the chromosomes toward the opposite pole, it demands the centriole again, and the centriole is not available with the secondary oocyte. So how it can perform the complete division? So that is what the division of the secondary oocyte is arrested at the metaphase level. Now at the entry of the sperm, you have understood the two centrioles were there. First one was used as the basal granule, second one was free, that is proximal centriole. And here what happens, only the sperm head and the centriole is enters here. So the proximal centriole will be delivered first, and due to the delivery of the first centriole, now the metaphase will now the division will stop and will convert in form of the oocyte. So here what happens, अभी एक लंबी नींद थी, उस नींद को तोड़ने के लिए क्या होता है, as the sperm enters inside the secondary oocyte, it causes the breakdown of MPF, metaphase promoting factor. What it does, as the sperm enter inside the secondary oocyte, it causes the breakdown of MPF. MPF is metaphase promoting factor. ये पूरी तरीके से metaphase को promote करने की कोशिश कर रहा था, लेकिन metaphase हो नहीं पा रहा था. तो that is a kind of sedentary stage, we can say. Now as soon as it breaks down the metaphase promoting factor MPF, it switches on the APC. It switches on the APC means what? Anaphase promoting complex. Now the process of anaphase can be started. How it can be started? Just now I discussed you the entry of sperm head as well as the proximal centriole, and the movement of spindle fiber, the movement of chromosome demands the centriole, and now the secondary oocyte is loaded with the proximal centriole. So that centriole can be used in the process of anaphase. So breaking down of MPF, metaphase promoting factor, and switching on the APC, anaphase promoting complex, are the key event. Now what happens next? Just try to understand. The turning on of APC, just now we discussed, and availability of the proximal centriole. These two things are now available inside the secondary oocyte. Due to what, the completion of meiosis second, now the metaphase will turn into the anaphase, telophase, cytokinesis, everything will be completed. Now the completion of meiosis second, secondary oocyte is changed into the egg. Now this is egg, not the secondary oocyte. When the metaphase converted in form of anaphase, telophase, and the availability of the proximal centriole of the sperm, now this structure is called as egg. So now what happens, this is a mature haploid egg, not the secondary oocyte. So my dear child, remember, फर्टिलाइजेशन किसका शुरू होता है, सेकेंडरी oocyte का. और फर्टिलाइजेशन शुरू होने के ठीक पहले, फर्टिलाइजेशन शुरू होने के ठीक पहले मींस फर्टिलाइजेशन प्रोसेस विल बिगिन फ्रॉम द सिनगैमी. सो यहाँ सिनगैमी नहीं हुई, बट बिफोर द बिगिनिंग ऑफ द फर्टिलाइजेशन व्हाट विल हैपन, द कन्वर्जन ऑफ सेकेंडरी oocyte इनटू द egg cell. Is it okay? So now just after formation of the haploid egg, the sperm head convert in form of the male pronuclei. Male pronuclei, you know very well, just we have just declared or discussed today only. The male pronuclei means what? The nuclear membrane of the nucleus will dissolve, the chromosomal content will released into the cell cytoplasm, oocyte cytoplasm, here egg cytoplasm. So chromosomal content of the egg nucleus gets free in the ooplasm. तो यहाँ दोनों हो गया, sperm head converted into the male pronuclei, chromosomal content of egg nucleus gets free into the ooplasm, मतलब ये भी अब pronuclei के form में convert हो गया. Means what? Now the male and female chromosomal contents are liberated into the cell cytoplasm, so no barrier is there in between them. So what will happen next? That is what the synkaryon, together mixing of the nucleus and the amphimixis. So mixing of male and female pronuclei means what? The chromosomes of the male and female pronuclei, chromosome of the male and female cells are being fused together, that is called as amphimixis. And due to the formation, the haploid 23 chromosome from the male cell, 23 chromosome from the female cell, they fuse together, and once again they establish the 46 number of the chromosome inside, and now that haploid cell is considered or converted in form of the diploid cell, that is called as zygote. Your fertilization is over. So is it clear? Fertilization is over now. Reaching to the surface of egg, that is the difficult topic. पॉलीस्पर्मी चेक करना है, पॉलीस्पर्मी चेक करने के बाद में फिर कंप्लीट करना है मियोसिस सेकेंड. एग का फॉर्मेशन होगा, प्रोन्यूक्लियाई का फॉर्मेशन होगा, प्रोन्यूक्लियाई के फॉर्मेशन के बाद में इनका कंटेंट मिक्स हो जाएगा, एंड दैट मिक्सिंग ऑफ द कंटेंट इज कॉल्ड एज एम्फीमिक्सिस. ड्यू टू द एम्फीमिक्सिस, नाउ द डिप्लॉयड स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ द सेल विल रिटेन, एंड दैट डिप्लॉयड सेल इज कॉल्ड एज फर्टिलाइजेशन. दैट डिप्लॉयड स्ट्रक्चर इज कॉल्ड एज zygote, and as the zygote form, fertilization gets over. Okay, so is it clear to you all now? Fertilization process is getting completed. The mechanism of fertilization is over. I think you might have carefully through my lecture, and you might have all the concept clear. Moving on, some more point about that. As soon as the fertilization gets completed, the activation of egg is there. What is the meaning of activation of egg? Due to the entry of the sperm inside the egg, what happened? The sperm will show the rapid metabolic rate, increased metabolic rate along with the increased oxygen consumption, increased protein synthesis, everything. So that increased rate of metabolism and protein synthesis in the egg after entry of the sperm is called as activation of egg. Some more point about the chemistry of fertilization. Physico-chemical event was there. Even though we have discussed so many chemical factors here, so many enzymes here, those who are performing like MPF, APC, then zonalysin, acrolysin, everything we have just completed here. But some more enzymes are there, some more chemicals are there that is required in the process of fertilization. So one by one I am just going to discuss that. First chemical is fertilization, and just opposite to the fertilization is called as anti-fertilization. Two chemicals are there, those who are working antagonistic to each other, that is fertilization and anti-fertilization. Remember, the fertilization is a glycoprotein released by the ovum and anti-fertilization is a protein released by the sperm. ये ध्यान रखना आपको. Fertilization is a glycoprotein released by the ovum and anti-fertilization is a protein that is released by the sperm. Fertilization and anti-fertilization, fertilization released by the ovum, anti-fertilization released by the sperm. And these two, fertilization and anti-fertilization, are used for the compatibility checking, my dear child. If you remember, the process of pollination begins with the compatibility checking here. Okay, so here also the compatibility checking is required. Without compatibility checking, the process of fertilization could not begin. Identification of the particular type of sperm is needed, and that is being done by the use of fertilization and anti-fertilization. The fertilization is unique for its own anti-fertilization. When these chemicals are common to each, then only the sperm is allowed to perform the penetration reaction, acrosomal reaction and others. Some more chemicals are there. Two types of chemicals are there, androgamone and gynogamone. Androgamone means release from the sperm, gynogamone means release from the egg. So androgamone, two types, androgamone first, androgamone second. Androgamone first is used for the conservation of the sperm activity. Androgamone second is useful for dissolving the vitelline membrane at the time of moving inside to the egg cytoplasm. So androgamone first is useful for the conserving the sperm activity, and androgamone second is useful for dissolving the vitelline membrane. Moving on to the gynogamone first and gynogamone second. Gynogamone first is neutralizing the androgamone first. Androgamone first को neutralize करेगा so that कि sperm activity should be neutralized and can release out the sperm head and the proximal centriole and increase the sperm activity. Okay, so neutralize the androgamone first and increase the sperm activity. So is it clear? Conserve the sperm activity उसको neutralize करके रखता है और androgamone के against काम करता है gynogamone first और sperm activity को बढ़ाने का काम करता है. Okay, moving on to the next, that is gynogamone second. Gynogamone second, it makes the sperm head sticky so that it could join easily to the surface of egg. So this is all about the fertilization, and I think everything I just tried to make you clear today. और ध्यान से पढ़ना है, one by one each and every concept you have to go through. I just tried to provide you all the concept in form of a sequence, in form of the series, so that you could not have any kind of the problem. So just take care about that. Go through the concept. This is very important concept for the competitive examination. So just go through that one by one. Each and every concept is very important. Just try to understand, watch the video again and again so that you could have a better understanding of the process of fertilization. In the next lecture, we'll see how the embryonic development begins. Now the pre-fertilization over, the gamete transfer and gametogenesis is over, fertilization is over. Now in fertilization, after fertilization is the embryonic development. So we'll see how the embryo is being developed in the humans. So till the time, thank you.